Welcome to episode 6 of the Running on Thin Air podcast, where we talk everything running, training, racing, and the endurance community with athletes you may not know, but you probably should. I'm your host, Brian Taylor, and today I'm really excited to welcome Patricia Grajeda-Babb to the show. I've known Patricia for over 10 years and followed her endurance journey. And let me tell you what, she is pretty incredible. Patricia, welcome to the Running on Thin Air podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And I'm really excited for this conversation. I know we haven't talked a lot in recent years. We were able to talk a few weeks ago, but I'm really excited for this conversation today because you have a really impressive story. And I'm excited for everybody to be able to listen in and hear a little bit more about you. So, where I'd like to start, I think, is it'd be really great if you could just give a very brief, minute introduction about yourself. So the way I like to do this is if you had a Wikipedia page, and you may, I don't know, but if you do, what would the intro to that page say about yourself?
Okay. My name is Patricia. Hi, everybody. I was born and raised in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico, and I did most of my upbringing across the border. Then I came over here for college, and then I ended up marrying and staying here in the United States, and I've been here ever since. I'm a first generation immigrant, and since this is about sports, I'm originally a swimmer. I grew up swimming. That's my first love, and most of the times my only love. To be completely honest, I love swimming. It's my to-go place. It's my to-go sport. And then I did a little bit of sports here and there. I was not a college athlete at all. I was more of a broke college, struggling uh, student that I had to pay the bill. So no time for sports really. And then in my late 20s, I kind of picked up a little bit of triathlon. Um, and then I've been doing that for a little while. And then I got into more gravel cycling, endurance sports. Uh, and today I am trying to break into ultra running, and I'm still trying to get better at it. So that's my intro. And I live in Colorado, which I truly love living here in Colorado.
That's awesome. I love it. First of all, I think it's funny when you say swimming is the sport that you really love, and I don't see that you're swimming as much as you used to. So maybe you're veering away. And also, this is interesting because it ties in. You said you wanted to, you're working on becoming a better ultra runner. I want to share that when we tried to originally talk, I think we were planning for a Friday, and this is a good example of who you are, I think. We were trying to connect on a Friday and you were texting back and forth and you said, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. I might have a drop in 50-mile race or something this weekend. So I might not be able to make it. And then you texted me, I think that Thursday night and said, yeah, I'm going to do this 50-mile race. So we're not going to be able to talk. I mean, so, you know, it's, you've been doing these things and for somebody to just drop into a 50-mile race is pretty impressive. So I think we'll just leave that there and everybody else will hear a little bit more about those things as we carry on. So, um, I love that you talked about, growing up in Mexico. Talk a little bit more about your childhood. What was it like? So were you swimming there and doing sports from a very early age in Mexico?
Yes. So my mom, she actually never really learned how to swim. So for her, it was very important for us, her kids, to actually learn proper swimming and technique. So all of her kids actually learned how to swim. So my I have memories of being a baby and actually remember swimming. And then I went into club swimming, which basically I probably did it from an early age all the way to like 11 years or 12, and I kind of just stopped there. That was it basically. So that was my sport, my time. And I remember that the training was just getting too intensive, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to swim anymore. We were swimming in the mornings, we were swimming at night, everything surrounded studying, and I was like, which I deeply regret, but here we are anyway. But yes, that's how swimming became my my childhood sport, if you want to call it that
Yeah.
way. I really didn't do a lot of sports when I was later in life, like college. I did go to the college swimming pool, really, but not like to the level that I was doing it in my earlier years. And then too, I was a cheerleader in high school, so that helped a little bit too.
Yeah.
But really not much an athlete, if you want to call it that, in my teenage, young adult life, really.
Yeah. So you didn't swim in high school?
Yep.
Did, you just did cheerleading, and so you had kind of dropped it or just did it for fun in high school after all that intense younger
Yeah.
years training and everything?
Yeah, which I wish I would have kept because I'm actually not a bad swimmer. I think I consider myself a decent swimmer, so I think I would have probably done really well if I would have kept doing it. But I mean, it's part of life, I guess. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're still swimming. When I see you're pretty fast when you're out there, of course. I make comparisons to myself, which is pretty easy to be faster than me. But um, yeah, that's awesome. So what was it about in your, childhood as you were growing up and in high school and stuff that made you want to come to the United States? You came here for college. Is that when you first
yes.
came across?
So I was actually born in Juarez, which is actually the border of United States and El Paso. You can literally see. I mean, you could throw a rock. I was actually that here this weekend, and you can see it. Like you could throw a rock, and it's right there. So
Yeah.
growing up, I always wanted to go to like the University of Texas El Paso, which was right across the border, and it was compared to the schools in Juarez, or it was beautiful. I mean, you could see it. It was just like shiny, you know. So I always wanted to desire to go there to go and study there. And I really didn't even know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I think still trying to figure that out, but I
Yeah.
wanted to go there. That was like the goal, and I was like, I'm going to do everything I can possible to actually go there. Um, so. Uh, I put that goal in mind, and thankfully, I have a really good support system, a really good family that um, a mom that was very strict, extremely strict while I was growing up, and I really helped. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to college there, and I ended up graduating there. So that was uh, really great to graduate from the.
That's awesome. And with an engineering degree at that too, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
What kind of engineering?
So industrial engineering.
Industrial engineering. Awesome. And so did you do sports just for fun in college? I know you said you didn't swim collegiately, but were you doing any sort of activities at all really through college?
If you wanna call activities going out and partying, yes.
So,
But like I said, it was, again, I college was expensive.
yeah,
Basically, either I was spending most of my time either working, like I was basically working all the time, most of the time.
yeah. So you didn't have time to think about even going out for a fun swim or anything else at that point in your life, really.
Well, if you ask my younger self, oh, what was fun for me back then, working out was not fun.
Yeah,
It was like going out with my friends and having a good time. So my priorities were different. Now, if you ask me now that, I'm like, I want to go for a run or I want to go for a swim, and that will make me happy. It's just, I don't know. It was a different mentality. I think if I was to go back, I would probably try to change that, knowing now what I didn't know then.
sure.
Um, but no, I did not have any of that base. Like, yeah, yeah.
That's it's unique because a lot of people still, do some of that. So I think that's amazing because especially when we get to some of your accomplishments, like it's incredible some of the things you've done. But when do you think that light bulb switched for you where all of a sudden you were interested in, working out and doing endurance events again?
So I work for energy, and I'm very proud that I work for energy. I think it's one of the great things that we do every day, coming in the industry that I do, providing energy for families, for everybody, for the community. Um, One of my early jobs was in West Texas, Midland. And if you've been there, which I believe you have, there's
That's
not a
where I
lot to do
first
there.
met you in
Yeah,
person.
there's
Yeah.
not a lot to do there. Like it's pretty raw.
Yeah.
Um, yes, there's not a lot of hobbies to do, not a lot of things to do. Um, so again, in my late 20s, I was like, okay, I can start working out. That's when I started working out. There's actually a very nice pool in Midland, so I started swimming there. And there was this triathlon they were organizing, and I was interested. It was like the main event of the year,
Yeah.
for Midland, and it was a sprint. And I remember that I had all these questions because I was like, how do you go from swimming to biking to running? I was like, I mean, how do you even do that? Because it's in a swimming pool. It wasn't a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Um, so I was interested. I remember I went and asked every single person I knew that was into sports. Maybe it was one of the first times I like reached out to you, but I was like, hey, do you have more information on this? I remember there was this really great runner. He was a manager of engineering, and I went and asked him, and he's like, okay. I was like, you think I can do this? Like, I was like, I mean, it was like a sprint. It was a very small triathlon.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I was like, what was I thinking? I mean, but it was just like the unknown, like, but it was exciting at the same time. It was like, what? Okay, I'm gonna swim this, and then I'm gonna bike. And I remember I had this beat up like cruiser bike that like, it was, like, falling apart mainly, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna use that." It had a kickstand, so that was pretty cool. The kickstand was pretty cool. Uh,
That's
and
awesome.
then and then I was like, "Okay, I think I can bike. I know how to ride a bike. I know I can swim." But I was like, "I don't know if I could do the 5K." Like, that was super intimidating, a 5K to me back then, and I was like I remember UGPB, University of Permanent Basin, had this little trail, and that's where I started running, and I remember I was like, I still do this to today. I'm like, I hate running because that's so like it's awful. It's like you're out of breath. You're like, anyway. So that's how I came into like sports again, really, and competing. And I remember I dragged my husband. I think I even dragged my mom out there, and we did it. And I had a really good, amazing time. Like not the actual time of the triathlon, but
Yeah.
I was like I had a huge smile on my face the entire time. I won the freaking thing. I don't know how, but I won the thing. And I was just like, yes. And then my husband's like, it was the kickstand on the bike. So anyway, yeah. And um that's why I got into it because boredom, there was nothing to do, and that kind of like just triggered my curiosity, and um I just like starting looking into that. And in Midland there was like one or two triathlons maybe. That was the main one.
Yeah.
Um so I kind of just did that for a little while, and then I started to look outside of Midland of other opportunities in events.
Yeah.
So that's how my triathlete life started, basically.
That's, I mean, just that happened in Midland, Texas. Not exactly the triathlon capital of the world. Um, not the triathlon capital of Texas. I mean, like I remember when you and I first talked, and you told me that you were training for a triathlon, and I thought, out here, where do you even ride your bike? Because I've spent time out there, and it's quite scary being in a car on the road most of the time, and I could not imagine how you felt on a bike on the road. And talk about that a little bit. Like, what was it like being in a community where, sure, there's some people that are athletic and, like to do outdoorsy stuff, but in general, Midland it's not Boulder, it's not Fort Collins, it's not, these places where there's such a huge uh, growth in outdoor sports. So what was it like kind of being not only new to the sport itself, but also in an area where a lot of people probably looked at you and thought, she must be crazy. What is she doing out there?"
I think I still get that a lot, quite a bit, but uh, um, so in Midland, the community is very, very small. And I think I met most of them. And my personality, I kind of reach out to everybody and tried asking questions. And I was like, what is this? What is that? Um, while I was in the West Texas, the longest distance I ever participated was in a half Ironman. That was like the longest one. And
Hmm.
so my training, my distance was not that bad as far as longer. Um, I basically used my cruiser bike for probably 2 years until I think I started like getting embarrassed on my kickstand a little bit, to be honest. I was like, maybe it's time to get an upgrade. And I remember I bought a beat up road bike, and I was so happy because I was like, I look super cool in this. And I started. There was the frontage road in Midland and Odessa, 191. Um, every time I go back, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. This is crazy. I was riding there, and I part of me wants to think that 10 years ago was not as bad as it is today, but I think it is. It was just like I didn't even have a trainer, but like, indoor trainer back then.
Yeah.
I didn't even know of all this stuff out there, the technology that could help you. So I was just like riding my bike on the Francis Road the best I could. Um, I had no idea how to clip in. I fell a lot. I feel like a lot of people saw me, and it was so funny. I remember I asked you, what pedals do you use?
Mm.
And you were the one who told me about speed plays.
Yep.
And I didn't even do research of all the other options out there. I just went with speed plays because I was like, okay, I just need to go and do this. So um that's how I started like cycling. As far as swimming, I was always swimming in the swimming pool. Running the trail at UTPB, that's what kind of helped me. But again, like the distance of 56-mile, uh, I probably was riding 40 miles at that point to get for up to the 56 mile.
Yeah.
And I was just basically doing it for fun. And till this date, I was just like almost just doing it to finish the events.
Yeah.
And my first 70.3 was in, oh my God, what is that town's close to? Oh my God. It wasn't in Midland. It was on the east side. Um, I forgot the name. Really nice race. They still put it together. Carabel, if I'm
Uh,
right. I think it's
I'm not
Carabel.
sure.
But anyway, that's how I kind of did my training out there. It was rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That that's impressive. I still think that's impressive to this day. And that's one of the first things I think about whenever I see that you did a race recently or whatever on Instagram. And I always remember that you were training back there in Midland. And I still just think that was crazy. But good for
You're like,
you.
he really
Good
wants
for
to
you.
train.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you wanted it. You had the desire. That was awesome because there could have been a million reasons to just say, I'm not going to do this here for, a host of reasons. And you persevered and continued to do that. So now you mentioned you live in Colorado now. I'm
Mm,
curious, and it's been for a while, maybe 10 or 12 years you've been in
hmm.
Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the math in the back of my head. Uh, did your endurance journey or your ambitions have any deciding factor in wanting to come here?
I'm gonna be completely honest. Not really.
Okay.
Um, when we were thinking about moving over here because of work, um, the Permian, like I said, I'm from El Paso area. So if you want to say it, I didn't know any better. Like there's water out there. There's like communities that are more like into sports and stuff like that. So for me, it was a 4-hour drive west home
Hmm.
to my family. So I was like, this is closer and this is fine. So Colorado was like not one of the things that I wanted to do. Like I really wanted to get out of here, West Texas, not really. My husband, he's from Tennessee, so he knew what was out there a little better. There's like prettier things to do, more to like out there. And he's like, well, why don't you just give it a chance? This is a good career opportunity, and we might like it. And if not, we can always come back, which is true. And I am so glad that I we decided on coming to Colorado because I really love it here. I think if we had not moved, I had not like just stayed in this journey of like, oh, more endurance sports. What else is out there? And
Yeah.
so I mean, that's how I we moved to Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. You think it would have been difficult to achieve some of the things that you've accomplished recently from an endurance perspective, if you would have stayed in Midland?
Yes, it
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it's just, the community is a big thing.
Yeah.
The ability to train at elevation has helped a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
uh, the ability to ride your bike, that's the other thing. There's trails everywhere. Um, it's just the environment is more conducive to like outdoor activities.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So now you're in Colorado and you were doing triathlons. I guess let's talk a little bit about some of your triathlon journey for now. So I was trying to do some research before this podcast. And first of all, one thing I like about ultra running is you can go to ultra sign up and you can see, as long as you signed up through that website, you can see everybody's history, which is great. Ironman, unless I missed it, is not that way. So there's no easy way to go and see every Ironman race because I know you've participated in quite a few of those. But I couldn't see a list of like, here's every Ironman sponsored event or branded event that Patricia has participated in. But it's a lot. And I started to just lose track because it's been a number of 70.3s, some Ironmans, world championships of both, if I'm correct, right? You've done
Hmm.
both the full and the half Ironman world championships. Talk a little bit about, going from your longest was a half Ironman in Texas to you moved to Colorado. And then all of a sudden, what was it that inspired you to continue to go further and do a full Ironman, which is insane? But then also be good enough and to be able to qualify and to be able to go to the world championships for both. Just sort of talk about your triathlon journey for a little bit, if you would.
So we moved to Colorado, and um, again, the community, the just the ability to do more outdoor activities was like from the get-go, it was pretty obvious. So the community was amazing. I remember that I started working out with this amazing you were talking about where inspiration comes from, and I think inspiration comes from everyone that you
Mhm.
meet out there. Like it's just everyone has a story, and everybody every day has something that is like shared with you. You're like, oh my God, you're amazing. So I've been pretty blessed that that's where my inspiration comes from, honestly. Um, and I came here and I met with this really awesome group of triathletes, really good friends, and it was Boulder 70.3, which was earlier in the year before.
Yeah.
Um, they actually came back to that like early in the year date. Um, and I signed up for that, and I was trying to train for that, and had already signed up for the first full, no, the second first full. I can't remember, I think it was the second full Boulder Ironman in the fall.
Yeah.
Like was it August? I can't
It
remember the
was
dates before
August.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2014 was the first year.
So, but I think it was the second year I did. I can't remember. I think you did it the first year
I
actually
did it
now,
the first
right?
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I remembered. It was torture.
Yeah. So I think it was anyway. So we were training for that. Um, and I was just like, "Oh my God, you're gonna guys are gonna do the full," and they're like, "Yes." They had signed up. I don't know how long they have been signed up, and I finished the half, which was really hard because it was at elevation and climbing, and I had just gotten my first triathlon bike, and I was like, I have this. It was a P2 Cervelo. It was amazing, and I was like, man, I can do anything in this bike because the bike is gonna do it for me. Basically, I was like, I can do this, and I finished, and I was like, just so happy and excited, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna sign up for the full." All my group of friends, which they were still very supportive, but they were like, there's like 2, 3 months, like it's like this like at the end of the summer,
Oh my
and
gosh.
but I was just like training with them, and I would hear like they were kind of training towards that, and I was just like so inspired by them, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna try to do it." And I came home like the crazy person I am, and I told my husband and the crazy person he is, and he's like, "Yeah, you should do it." And so next thing you know, and I'm signed up for my first full Ironman. It was so I was so excited, so nervous. I'm so glad I did it. I had no idea what I was doing. Um, but again, I was like, even my friends were like, like, but we're gonna be there supporting you. And
Yeah.
I finished.
It's
And
awesome.
yeah, and I remember my husband's like, well, you're probably gonna need a watch. And I was like, yeah. So we went to Walmart and bought this like $9 watch and strapped it to the bike. And here we go. And I was under 12 hours and I was like so happy about it. I was like, I finished. And I was like, never again. That was it. And then next thing you know, I'm signing up for the next one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So your first full Ironman with like 2, 3 months of dedicated training for an Ironman, not a half
yeah,
Ironman, and you finished
yeah,
under 12 hours
yeah.
in Boulder.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was so
gosh.
crazy.
That is insane. What I don't remember. What was it like that year? Was it super hot? Because it was in August and it had the potential to be. I know the year I did it, it was unpleasantly warm.
I don't even remember, to be honest. Um, I just remember I was like, I'm so glad I finished.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I don't care.
Wow.
That was all I remember the finish. I was like, this is so awesome. But I mean, that's how I train. I found this amazing group of women that basically carry me through. And I remember they were in shock. They just finished. They were like so happy, but they were like, yeah, like so cool. So, but that's how. If I had not like heard all their stories, all the training they were doing it when we were running or when we were training, I would have probably not been even interested or even knew about it. But they kind of gave me that, like, confidence of, like, man, when I was working like, doing it with the training, I was like, "Well, I don't really like, they've been training for this, and I can keep up, so maybe,
I love it.
maybe."
I love it. Maybe. Why not? Like, why not you, right? And I
Yeah.
just I just think that's amazing. Patricia, that's
Well,
incredible.
I've always thought that if you dream the impossible, you achieve the impossible.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like I'm not going to, but that's almost what you should end the podcast on right there is that saying right there. That's beautiful. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So, but we're not going to end there. So, how many Ironmans have you done at this point now? Do you know? Have you lost track?
Bulls?
Yeah, full
I think 11 or 12.
11 or 12. And okay, and so that's average of probably one a year. If your first one was 2015 ish, is probably what you're averaging.
Yeah, there was during COVID, it was Florida, and there was a couple. I think there was a year that I did two. I don't know what I was thinking. That was a lot. It was, I think, Tulsa in California. Um, but yeah, pretty much. Um, like this year, I didn't do one,
Yeah. Okay.
and no, I did. See, I already forgot. I did, I did, I did, I did Texas. But I am not planning to do one next year.
Okay. Not yet, anyway. So, how many times have you done the world championship for the full?
Once.
Once. And when was that? Do you remember the
Uh,
year?
oh my God. Let me, I have to look.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with this.
It was before they split it up, though, right? It was in Kona, and it was still male and females at the same time because now they've split it, if I
they're
recall.
going back again, right? They're going
Oh, are
back.
they going back?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're going back. I've heard that they were split up, which I was just in the 70.3 Marbella, and it's still split up, but the day after.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I think Kona's gonna be one, either one event or like just back to back. But I
Yeah.
think everything's gonna be back to Kona, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Instead of every
you
other
should
year.
not rely on me as a source because I am probably the worst. Like, yes.
Do you have a favorite full Ironman that you've done?
So, not really, but I've done Texas 3 times. So
Oh,
if I was
okay.
to say there's a favorite, it's probably by the times I've done it. And I think Texas because of
Okay.
that uh, data point right there. Um, is just easy to go to. Um, yeah.
Kona is tough, right? But it's probably the vibe is probably pretty crazy there. I've never been there for the World Championships, but I'm sure it's a little bit insane.
Yeah, so I did a 70.3 there too. And then I did the World Championships. And yes, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm pretty lucky that I have a really amazing group of friends, and I was able to share this with several of my friends, but one very good friend. And we were out there, and we basically did everything that you could do that week, and just the environment, the energy that you have out there. Um, I pretty much just go through the actual race, to be honest. Like, I was having such a awesome time. I have this teammate for my triathlon team. I remember she passed me on the bike and I was like, "Hey, how are you? How's it going?" And she was like that, like hammering the bike, and I was like, "Oh, see ya, bye." And I was like, I was just having a great day 'cause I mean, it's Kona, so I was just trying to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And but I was like, maybe I should not have tried to talk to her. And she was like, she's so every so often, but Kona is pretty magical in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. It's special. I never did it, but I did do the half, the Hawaii 70.3, which some of the bike course at least is the same. It's
Up to
beautiful.
hobby,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just gorgeous.
yeah.
But
You start further north,
yeah.
in Kona. The swim is beautiful because it's
Oh,
a little, yeah, it's so beautiful.
yeah.
I actually think it's more beautiful than the one
Oh,
for the
really?
worlds. Yeah. I was able to see more of the wildlife and like the actual fish, but it's beautiful. But they both have their own magic,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about 70.3s? How many half Ironmans have you done? You
I
probably
really
can't
don't know.
count. It's a lot, I'm guessing.
No, not really.
No.
Actually, I prefer the full distance than the half.
Okay.
I'm not a sprinter. I have short legs. I was like, and I prefer the long haul. I do. I do better in the longer courses. Um, I feel like the 70.3s are, I mean, it's not like you're all out, but it's Uh, and then you have to carry all this equipment with you anyway, so you might as well just take advantage of your money and bring everything
Yeah.
and do the whole. I don't know. I don't know how many I've done. So not that I think I've done probably about the same.
Okay. But you went to Worlds this year.
Yes,
Talk about that. How was that?
it was pretty cool. So com I'm gonna be completely honest. I got FOMO. Some of my friends had already gotten their spots. Um, again, the community of girls that always inspire me. They're amazing. Um, they're like, "Oh yeah, she got her spot, and she got her spot, and we're all going to Spain in November." And I was just like, and then I was just like, "Well, that sounds really fun. Like, I want to go to Spain, and I want to go and have some tapas and like chill and drink and like eat. Of course, I love eating. Um, so I came back and I started looking. I was like, "What's the next race?" And it was just 70.3 in Boulder. So I signed up for it. I think I did a good 1 and a month and a half of training. Like I was like I want to put, and I podium and I got my spot. So I was like, yes. Now I go to
Oh my
November.
gosh.
November. It was like the greatest time because I was able to spend some time with my friends, and then my husband and I traveled for the area around the area for 2.5 weeks, and we ate and drank, and yeah, it was what I had envisioned. I for me it was mostly like I went for like not even the race, but it
Yeah.
was the race was magical. We're pretty blessed that we are able to race in places like that. In Marbella is one of those spots where um the swim was a little choppy, but amazing, beautiful water, great weather. The bike, even though I rented this bike, It was not fitted, and every single thing in my legs hurt. It was magical. The course from Marbella to Ojen is so beautiful. It's a climb for sure. It's a freaking climb, but it's like it is just beautiful. The people, the locals, I remember I'm like huffing and puffing going up to a hen, and these like locals were playing domino and drinking beer at like what 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I need one of those beers. I was like, I need, and they're like, yeah.
Did
Anyway,
you
it
take
was
one?
awful. No, I wish I would have stopped. That would have made my
Oh,
ride
okay.
better. I almost did though. I was very tempted. I just I just thought if I stop, I'm not gonna get back on the bike.
Yeah.
Because anyway, they were just playing domino. I was talking to them, and they were having a blast. The course is just beautiful. Then you come down, and then you're running by the water,
Mm,
and it's just that magical kind of blue. And the people, like the people carry you. They're like, and they're, it's just like it's like Kona. Like
yeah.
it was like it reminded me a lot of Kona where everybody's just so pumped, especially the men were racing the next year. So they were sorry, the next day. And they were just like it was just pretty magical. So Marbella, the course, it's for sure recommended. Like it's a beautiful course.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on making it there after a month and a half of training. And then getting a podium spot in Boulder, like that is a triathlon capital of the world, probably. And to go out there and podium uh, without training like a year to do so, I think is pretty impressive. So you have
Thank you.
you have some abilities, some talent there, Patricia. That's for sure.
Thank you. I think it's just more like it was a desire. I was like, I am gonna go with my friends and have a great time in Spain. And we did.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so I just put this puzzle piece together, and I want to see if it fits or not. Maybe it doesn't, but I want to transition a little bit away from triathlon and talk about
Mhm.
running, your least favorite sport, maybe, but
Yeah.
also one that you're doing incredible things in. So I realize, if I remember right, I think you went to Tucson one year and spent some time with Heather Jackson
Mhm.
uh, when she was doing triathlons. Is that right? With a training
Yes.
camp or something?
Yes, yes. That was my
Okay.
first ever triathlon camp. My first triathlon team. Wadi Inc. Uh,
Yeah.
it was I it kind of opened the door to like this community that I keep talking about. Like there's such a big community, people that help you, people that give you advice. And Heather Jackson was part of that first triathlon camp that we did. And it was just so exciting to see somebody so successful and share her stories and like her unique abilities and like just be there and like every day with us and swim and bike. And she has such an amazing energy. She's unique. So yeah, that was like, I don't know, like that just adds to your like the inspiration buckets. You're like, oh my God, yes. And so it was a pretty unique experience. And I'm very grateful that I've been part of these like teams that have always helped me kind of figure out what I want to do next or inspire me on what to do next.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been a huge fan of Heather Jackson for a long time. Just to see her smile, like almost constantly, just gives you inspiration to continue to go. And she seems, I've never really met her myself, although I did camp next to her at Black Canyon, 50K one year, or I guess she was doing the 100K. But anyway, that was my little claim to fame on that particular race, was just being
You're like,
camped out next
"Hi,
to her.
I'm Brian."
Yeah, I was too embarrassed to go say anything. I was like, I'm not going to talk to her, but it was pretty cool. Um, but she has obviously transitioned from being a world class professional triathlete with amazing accomplishments. I mean, she's incredible, to now getting into trail running and doing a lot of trail running and also showing really a lot of talent there. As you know, she's in her 40s, she's getting older, but she's still performing very, very well in these races. You also have done some transitioning, or at least in part, or maybe adding to your list, of getting into trail running and ultra running. Did she have anything to do with that, or did you start to dip your toes into trail running and ultra running before she did a handful of years ago?
Well, I think everything influences you. Everything you see out
Yeah.
there from the social media and all the comments and everything. So I do think it does in a way. Seeing that a person has made the transition and has made a successful transition into a different sport, it just gives you like that, I don't know, empowerment and like motivation to be like, well, again, um, the motivation, the inspiration comes from everyone in like in my case. So yes, I do think that there has been some impact on that. Like, hey, well, there's one example. Of course, she's a professional triathlete, and and she's a great runner. She's an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
So here goes Patricia, average Joe. Like, I mean, there's 1% success rate.
Uh,
Anyway, so I do think that there's like that um, effect in everything that it's out there that influences at certain point.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? So, if you hate running so much, it must have been a chore to convince yourself to run 26.2 miles at the end of a full Ironman. Why in the world would you sign up for an ultra marathon? I don't remember which your first one was, but I know you've done a 100-mile race now, sub 24
Yeah.
hours. What was your inspiration to say, I hate this, I'm going to do it longer?
So my first marathon was in a full Ironman.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
very first time I completed distance was actually in a full Ironman. And I was like, this is awful. Which it is. Um, Now I've noticed that I like prefer, not I love, let's put it that way. I prefer anything less than a marathon or anything more than a marathon. I prefer, like, let's put it that way. It's just the pace is different. Um, I like to enjoy it a little bit more and not be like feel like I'm dying every single like going all out. I know I have a lot of work to do with my running. Um, there's a lot of room for improvement. That's probably the one that I need the most. Um, but your question is, how did I start basically getting into running longer? So I have a really like they're all in little groups, but this other group of really amazing runner women that inspire me. Uh they're here from my town. From Windsor, and they have like they qualified for Boston. They're just like amazing. And there was this like it was like an ultra back run, like backyard ultra run,
Uh,
where you just ran how much you wanted to do, like for 24 hours. Um, and I remember I started with them and we just started running. Of course, they're like super fast. So like they were 4 mile loops, I believe. I think it was a couple years ago. And of course they were like, they took off and they were gone. And then eventually throughout the day, I catched up. I think because they stopped and also got like lunch and dinner. But eventually catched up and I stay with them at that point. And we were just going and there I remember I was like, I don't want to do more than this distance. And I think I was aiming for a I can't remember. For anything more than 26.2 at that point. And I remember one of them was like, you know what has a really nice tone to it? 100K. And I was like, I wish you had not said that. Because there I was until I got the 100K. And I was like, okay, I'm good. So that's how I did the first one. And honestly, because I was with them and we were just like motivating each other, they stayed there and they were like did a longer distance, but that's how my first one came to be. Um, my first 100K.
so your first ultra marathon, you were planning on maybe doing 26 miles to do a marathon, and you ended up just running just a casual, 36 more miles or whatever it is. Just
Well, I had not trained for it, so I was like anything above 26 is actually I think what I thought it was pretty good distance. And again, it's a mental game most of the times,
Yeah.
and they again they helped me a lot. So it it was it was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I ended up with that.
That's super cool. That's amazing. That's amazing. And then tell us about your 100. You've done one 100 miler. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It
Tell us about that.
was a 24-hour. It was a 24-hour one. That means that you can go as many loops as you want for 24 hours. And uh, I signed up last minute again for that. I remember, yeah, I remember this. This I consider her my friend. She's here and also in Windsor, and we were talking, and I was like, "Are you going to do this?" And she's like, "Yes." So they had like tents set up really nicely, like to get support. Uh, I showed up with my roll car, like little trailer, and I was like, "Well, here we go." I was like, um, so we started. I think it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and we just started doing loops. Um, my husband eventually came by. He's like, "How you doing?" And he just stayed there. uh, I was like running at night, and I ended up. So it was completely flat. It wasn't technical.
Okay.
Um, and I ended up with 100 miles in 23 hours or so. So, yeah. And they were like, "Do you want to go on more? Like, do you have time?" And I was like, "No, no more. I'm done." This is like, I mean, it's a very good company that puts it together here. They're amazing and they do a lot of trail running. Um, it was hard, and I think mentally was harder than physically. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I remember at the end, I was just like, I I was just like in shock that I had just finished that. Like I was like, I don't know how I just finished that. Like um I remember I'd had one coach before, and he's like, "How the hell did you do that?" And because he knew that I wasn't training or doing that. He's like, "How the hell did you do that?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't know. I just started putting one foot in front of the other one till it was time."
This sounds like your MO. I feel like this is just what you do is just sign up for things last minute and be like, oh, I'll just go crank out 100 kilometers or 100 miles and then you're successful at it. It's incredible.
Well, I feel like I do. I do work out regularly. I do.
Yeah.
I do have a good like baseline,
Sure.
so that does help. I do feel like I don't like the pressure of knowing a race is coming. To be honest, I like to just have fun because I think I have more fun in the training. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think that's where you meet the people, you talk to people, you learn from their experiences, you meet all these kind of like amazing stories, and like it just like energizes you, empowers you, and gives you all these crazy kind of ideas to like, oh man, I bet I could do that too. Like, uh, so yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome. You're inspiring. What was that running group that did that 100 mile there in Windsor? Do you remember?
Yes, it's Jagnar. Jagnar
Oh,
is
okay.
Gnarr.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm probably butchering that, but they're like
No,
amazing.
run. Yeah.
That's the company that puts it together.
Yeah. They do some other,
And I
I
did
think they do the, no, I can't think of it, but yeah, they do a number of races locally, right? Yeah.
the Quad Rock. Is that the one you were going to
I
say?
think they might do Quad Rock. No, I was thinking of the one up in, Never Summer. I think that's the one. Do they put on Never Summer?
Yes,
100K and 100 mile too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
they do.
That one was
I've
on my
heard really
list.
good things about that one. I did Red Feather 50 miler with them. That's
That
the one that I
that's the
did.
one you're like, sorry, I can't talk to you on Friday because I'm gonna go do a 50 miler, I suppose. Yeah.
Um, so my grandmother passed away. And she had a full life. She was 96, and I had just came back from that, and I had looked into this 50 miler. I think it was truly my first ultra run race, to be completely honest, because it was at elevation, technical. Um, it had like all the sort of flat and just one loop. So I had all these little things, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I am gonna do this to celebrate my grandma's life in a way, and to help me kind of just do it mentally, emotionally for her in a way.
Hmm.
So that's why I kind of signed up last minute. And I remember I was telling my husband, I was like, you know that you're gonna have to support me if I do this weekend and your weekend. I mean, like, and he's like, no, I'll be there. We'll do it. It was it was very hard. Again, because I'm very, I don't pick up my feet. I am not a runner really like to pick up my feet. It's hard. It's just hard for me to do the technical work and do that. It was beautiful. I had a lot of time to myself in the run. Uh, I finished, but we went over the 50 mile and it was already dark. I had some water left over. I think I told you this story when I was on the phone with you. And I was like, oh my God, we're past 50 miles. And I'm like, I was getting nervous. I was like, did I get lost? Because like I did not have a map. I did not look at the course like a responsible person should do, and I am not that. I do not. And I was like, okay, I feel I had actually gotten lost before, and I found the trail back. It was probably like just for a minute or so, but I got back. And I was like, oh my God, did I get lost again? I'm gonna go over 50 miles. I'm over 50 miles. What is happening? My brain started playing trick lines with me, and I was like, hello. I started yelling hello in the dark. And I was like getting very nervous. And then finally the woman, the person in front of me was like, yes. And I was like, like, yes, crazy person, what do you need? I was like, hey, are you over the 50 miles? I feel like I might have gotten lost. And then the silence just came over. Like there was nothing for like 4 minutes. I feel like I just like dumped that on her, and she was like, also like, what is happening? She's right. So she was probably like trying to put herself together too. And then she finally, she's like, no, I think we're on track. It's past 50 miler. Just, I think we're on the right track. Just keep going. And I was like, okay, that's reassuring. Thank you. And then I was like, hey, by the way, my number's number this. So if you don't see me come through in the next hour, please tell the race director. She probably got lost. She just like, I don't know if she laughed or she was like, oh, okay. And that was it. And I remember the person that was behind me, he was like, thank God, guys. Like, like I guess I was not the only one in that like department of like what is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I crossed the finish line, and I was like, man, that was amazing. When am I gonna do the next thing? So it was, but it was hard. It was freaking hard for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I remember you said it was hard, but
Yeah. And
I don't think they're ever easy. Like they're just not easy. It's not meant to be easy. So 50 miles I feel like are always hard, especially one like that. So yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful. There was a lot of snow. There was a lot of mud. uh yeah, like again, I'm very happy I did it. And they put a really good um race together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I want to ask what 2026 is looking like for you. You said you're not at least planning on a full Ironman for 2026. Do you have any plans for what's coming up for next year?
I do. So this year we some of my friends, they were I don't know what triggered that trip. I think we just wanted to go to Leadville. And a few group of women friends and new friends that I have now. We signed up for the full marathon in Leadville.
Hmm.
Um, Oh my God, is that hard? That is super hard. You go up Mosquito Pass. Okay, I
Yeah.
had no freaking idea what I was signing up for. Uh, it was great and it was amazing. And again, so anyway, we I'm like telling the story awfully. I'm sorry. Um, so we put this trip together to go and hang out and do the full marathon, and then finish the marathon. I actually rolled over my ankle, and I hit like
Ooh.
I it was awful. I fell, rolled over my ankle. It was probably mile like 7. It was pretty early.
Oh.
Uh, and I remember I was so embarrassed. And everybody was super nice, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes, it's just I'm okay. Just give me 1 second." I was bleeding, and I just like tightened up my ankle, and I was like, "My God, I'm gonna finish this, whatever." So with a roller freaking ankle, it was like this big at the end,
Oh.
but I finished the marathon, which I was really happy. And then at the end, you have your little celebration. And my friends are like, "What happened to you? You kind of disappeared. We saw you, and then you were like not too far, and then here you are an hour later." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I rolled over my ankle." I was just like, "I'm just happy that I finished." I was just like, "I'm just happy that I'm here." Anyway, they have at the end of they have the spots for the level 100, what do they call it?
Yeah.
The coins.
Yep.
I was like, "What are the coins? What are the freaking coins?" And they're like, you can get the coins. Um, and then but you can put your number in it to get a coin if the roll it's like a first they go for the first, second, and third, and then they actually do like a raffle what's left over, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm butchering the process, Leadville, but
Yeah.
I try to explain it in my terms. Um, and they have so many coins they give up. And my number came up.
Wow.
And I was like in shock. And if anybody was there and sees this, I was like literally in shock. I was like, that's me. Like I was just like almost crying because I was like, what are the chances? It was the last coin called and it was my number. And they're like, "Do you take it?" And I was like, I'm just like not even like processing this. Of course I'm gonna take it. But then I was like, oh my God, like and you have the opportunity to do it that year or the next year. And I took the spot for next year. So I'm signed up
Okay.
for that for next year for August.
All right.
Yes. So now it's like, okay, now you gotta know what are you gonna do to get there. And I'm pretty much gonna dedicate my entire year to train for that.
That's awesome. That'll be fun. I'm excited for you. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna do great. I think you're gonna do great. That's really exciting.
Yeah. So I volunteered this year uh for the level 100. Oh my God, it's just like amazing.
Yeah.
It's just like all the stuff that people could go through. I was at the aid station. Uh, it's very magical. It's great vibes, great energy. I saw Roach actually there, and I was just like, it's just I'm very much looking forward to it. I am very scared, very nervous, very excited. I had like all this like roller coaster. I'm gonna put in the work and we'll see. I'm hoping to finish. That's my main goal for next year.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch you from afar and see how you do. I think it's going to be amazing. You're amazing. So, I have one question as we start to wrap up that I like to ask everybody. And so I'd like to ask you if there was one person that you could share some miles with and go from a run with. It doesn't have to be anybody you know. It doesn't have to be anybody that's even alive. Um, but who would that person be? Who would you want to go share maybe a half marathon or 100K with?
Well, I feel like one of the main reasons I do this is it's like me time. It's my space, my time. And these are the longest conversations I have with myself. And I invite all these people to them. And most of the times is now it's my grandma, part of it, my dad, and just all those people, my brother that had like really big impacts in my life. And I just have really long conversations with them, like trying to catch up and it's just amazing. That's those are the people that I want to talk to, and I keep talking to them. I am not a celebrity, no,
That's
nobody like
awesome.
that. Is just the people that have inspired me and have supported me over the years.
It's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. Patricia, this has been an incredible conversation. I really thank you for taking the time. You inspire me, and I'm sure you inspire everybody else that's out there just with your joy and your passion for everything you do and finding inspiration from everybody. I think that's something we can all take as, not that this is podcast is meant to be a lesson, but I think it's something we can all take from here is that you can find inspiration in a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be who's just sitting on the podium at the end of a race or standing on a podium. So, thank you for sharing your experiences. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll talk soon. In the meantime, uh, you're not on Strava, but you are on
I am on
Instagram.
Strava. I just won't
Well,
upload it.
you don't post on Strava, I should say. You have one thing maybe on there. Um,
I steal a lot of routes from there. That's why.
so is it it's okay if I share your Instagram
Yeah,
post in the show
yeah,
notes? Okay. Okay. I will share your tag. Again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I am looking forward to seeing how you do in Leadville in 2026 and whatever else last minute you end up signing up for. I wish you all the best, and we'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
yeah. Thank you for having me, dude.
All right. Thank
Very
you.
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Like.